Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Welcome
Swati.
to Good evening, Sheila. Welcome to another session of Curiosity Talks. To those of you who have been here before, it's great to have you with us again. And for those who are here for the first time, let me explain what is Wisdom Circle and what we do. So, Wisdom Circle is a global platform connecting seasoned professionals and organizations by leveraging technology to foster beneficial partnerships. Curiosity Talks is just one in a bouquet of offerings that we bring to our community of more than 100,000 members. In my sessions, I have the privilege of hosting speakers who bring wisdom, knowledge, information, and unique perspectives to all of you curious folks. In today's session, The Midlife Mind, Understanding Transitions, Purpose and Possibility, we have with us Vandana Srivastava and Ragini Rao. So Vandana is the founder of Zuva Life, a thoughtfully designed ecosystem that supports people in middle age as they navigate transitions with clarity and confidence. And after 2 decades in leadership and brand strategy, she founded Zuva Life to reimagine the next chapter with a renewed sense of purpose. So let's go over to Vandana and Ragini. Ragini, who's a psychotherapist, life transitions guide, and co-founder of Infinum Growth. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm so glad to be here. This seems to be an interesting forum. And I've been always curious about your curiosity talks, and finally I'm there. You'll see me as an audience member next time, perhaps.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
Yeah.
lovely.
Thank you so much.
So, Vandana, you have often said that midlife isn't a crisis but a crossing. So I'm very curious, what drew you to explore this space and to start Zuva Life?
Yeah. Swati, it started from a very personal space. I think I was looking at my parents aging, and how they aged differently. My father lived to over almost 101 and lived a very zestful life. I was telling you, he actually was going to work. He used to support many, what you call as foundations or sanstans till he was about 96. He was driving, and mom, equally energetic, and she passed away very quickly um, after he passed away. They were 22 years apart, and it really made me wonder what was it that was happening. How come they lived such different lives? And I think the answer that came to me was purpose. And I started working. I started my work in the space of senior care, and the whole thing was about psychosocial support, where I thought we could help people understand, provide the psychological and the social, so community and other aspects of being a curious learner, being agile. And I saw many seniors living these zestful lives. But one thing that was standing out was that what led to them here, a lot of them, not everyone, was how they, what happened in their early years. And I think this is where a pause happened for me. And I felt that how we define our early years leads to how we live later in life. And that's what made us move into midlife. Uh, like I said, midlife is a crossing. It's a bridge, from where what you design then helps you live a better senior life is is how I look at it, and hence the whole focus moved towards midlife, that's where Zuva and the the whole idea of Zuva Life came into being.
And
So
I'm curious, and I didn't get a chance to ask you this question, but how did the name Zuva Life come about?
So Zuva, so I come from Jammu and Kashmir. I
Okay.
and Zuv is a Kashmiri word. It's an endearment, uh, like हम कहते हैं जान, like uh,
Acha.
Mm.
so Zua is it comes from the same thing, and I think it was about that purity of love, of connection, is what made me call it Zuva Life. Of course, there's a closeness, there's a personal reason there, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I just love that word, Zuv.
Mm.
Well, that's beautiful. And I'm so glad you explained it because now that word has a different meaning for me,
Mm.
right? So, and Ragini, as a
Mm.
psychotherapist
Mm.
with, deep understanding of this space, you also work with people across life stages.
Yes.
And what makes this phase so interesting and sometimes a tricky one to negotiate for people?
Yeah, because what we've seen is that typically people in their first half of their lives are just focused on achievement and doing and finding in their own identity, whether it's professional or largely professional and less personal. I think because they get so lost in all of that. And yet there is so much that the next chapter of our lives offer, because it comes with a lot of lived experiences, it comes with a lot of wisdom. Yeah. And Vandana and I have been working so closely with the program that it's going to come up, Zest Circle, next month, is really about how is it that we are going to take a pause and integrate the first part of our lives into our second part. And like Vandana rightly said, we don't have to wait to 90 to turn back and say, oh, what happened. Yeah. So I think it's good to take that pause at around 50 and 60. And that's what my experience with working with people also has been, is when we have turned inwards. This is the time to turn inwards, looking at purpose, meaning, realigning with our own values. Yeah. And that's the stage. And that is what gives purpose and meaning in life. So and this is repeatedly comes up when I work with people of middle age, because they be high achievers, but there's something not fitting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They may be doing extremely well in terms of their careers, but is it really fulfilling? That's a question that needs a pause to ask that question. Yeah.
And I have also noticed, since I speak to a lot of people now in this space, in this the area of crossing and transition and navigating these spaces, uh, the idea of ikigai or finding purpose
Purpose.
is sometimes I feel is bandied about. Like it's not spoken with as much seriousness as it should be. What is your idea about the importance of finding purpose?
Yeah. You want to go, Vandana? You want to say?
Yeah, surely, Ragni.
Mm.
I think it's so for me, purpose is something that gives you that energy when you wake up in the morning. That drives you. It can be anything, right? It need not be grandiose, but it
Mm.
can be anything that is the bigger driver. Also, like if you look at midlife, right? There's so much it's labeled as crisis. It's also this time for transitions, right? You become empty nesters.
Mm.
You're caring, you're caregivers for senior parents. Your careers are shifting, your bodies are changing.
Mm.
Right? There's so much that is happening at in this space, and there is a restlessness. See what has happened, like Agni rightly said, in the last, first half of your life has been very driven around achievements. It's very driven around uh, purposive, the learning. It's more learned experience. It's also the phase where we move into what we call the second curve. There's a very nice book by Arthur C. Brooks called Strength by Strength. If you guys are readers, please take some time and read about it. He talks very beautifully about this phase of life. This is also a phase when our intelligence shifts. Right? Uh,
Yeah.
from being this, I mean, Ragini can speak more about it, but fluid intelligence, it becomes crystallized. This what all that we have learned that comes into play. And this is where I think this big driver, which is purpose, drives us more than achievement. And I think that becomes even more evident or visible in this phase of life. I think if we all had to pause and reflect, what is that one thing I would like to wake up to tomorrow morning is what I would call purpose, whatever it might be. It might be taking care of my parents, or getting my son or daughter into this, whatever that is. It is so individual, but that particular driver for me, that's how I would design and define purpose.
Yeah. And I just want to add to, again, taking from that book, it's such a beautiful book, Strength by Strength. He talks about this fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. And I think it is so relevant to, I think, especially, and we're talking to everybody here in this group, because crystallized intelligence is about all our lived experiences and the wisdom that we have uh, kind of almost embodied in us. And that is, and really to acknowledge that and use that as a strength. Because what happens usually by the time we are 55, 60, there are certain changes that we start observing in ourselves. Because I myself realize that many times I'm forgetting small things. Yeah, but when I'm focused in my work, I'm totally focused. But there'll be acha bhi ye kahan rakh diya, like that. So, so these are normal things that will happen at our age. Yeah. And we may not be able to do multitask, and we may not be able to do things that, as fast as we could earlier. Yeah. So that is all comes under fluid intelligence. Yeah. Or, grasp. But crystallized intelligence is about really taking time to grasp, making meaning of it, and then really the application part of it. What do I? It's like he very beautifully explains, right? So to know that tomato is a fruit, but to know that that tomato, you know, how can the fruit can be consumed, or what we can do with that fruit is crystallized intelligence. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to add that to what Vandana said.
It's just learned versus lived. I think that's
Yeah,
the difference. There's
yeah,
a learned
absolutely.
wisdom and there's
Yeah.
a lived wisdom. And I think this phase is all about the lived wisdom.
Lived it, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
mm,
And that lived wisdom is so heavy with knowledge and skill and
mhm,
experience and
mhm,
decades of what you bring to the table. It's like
correct.
it can beat learned wisdom hands down, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that thing Ragini was talking about, this forgetting where her keys are, and or forgetting a name. I don't know. In this book itself, he mentions that, think of your brain as a big library,
Library.
and now the libraries become bigger, so it
Okay.
takes you that much time. So be kind to yourself when you're taking time to remember something. So these
Yeah.
sweet little cues, but
Yeah, yeah.
just to even
But
honor
that's a lovely analogy, I think.
just to
Yeah,
honor
and
wherever you are, and
yeah.
like the tree and the rings in the tree, with every year we form a new ring of wisdom. And yeah, it tells you exactly how you lived and where you've been.
I would also love to hear your take on Vanaprastha. You've written about it, and that it's not a renewal, it's a renewal, not a retreat. So, could you elaborate and tell us
Mm.
about it?
Sure, sure. This has been my, I think, pet peeve of late of talking about Vanaprastha. But, of course, we know all about the four ashrams that we have. We have, the Brahmacharya,
Brahmachari.
and then the Grahastha, and then the Vanaprastha, and then the Sannyasa. But I mean, this is, of course, one of the discussions that we were having. And he said, no, Vanaprastha means going to the forest, and then sannyasa means, taking, renouncing all worldly things. But what does even going to the forest mean? And I said, what if it was not going to the forest, but becoming the forest, becoming that ecosystem, right? That has everything there, right? Look at the forest. It has all aspects of providing, of contributing. And to look at this phase, just flipping the lens of being from looking at things of being achiever to contributor, right? A forest does so much, whether it's during the day or during the night or giving home or providing, every part of the forest has a purpose, right? And that's what, if it would be that to just become a forest, the ecosystem that supports life, the, from moving from achievement to contributing. And I mean, while we speak of vanaprastha, there are so many such, there are so many psychologists who have written about, so many philosophers who have written
Yes.
about it, right? Like, even for that matter, Eric Erikson, Ragini, you would know more about it. He speaks about this phase of life as generativity versus stagnation. So there are two aspects that can happen. Ragini, I would love you to talk more about it, because it's your subject.
Yeah, he rightly you pointed out that Erickson was a very famous psychiatrist. Actually, he was an analyst. He was psychoanalyst and a psychologist at the mid 20th century, the 1950s in the United States, and he wrote this theory on the psychosocial stages, and he talked about this stage of 45 to 60 as the stage of generativity versus stagnation. So rightfully, how, that is a stage, that midlife, where we need to pause and see how do we want to, make the changes in our life. Yeah? And how do we want to start contributing to the society, to the community, to the family, to whatever, whatever our calling is, right? And that he called it as generativity versus somebody who's not able to look at the purpose, who's not able to see the purpose, and how that leads to stagnation. And very interestingly, in the similar period, Carl Jung also talked about it, and he called it the statement stage. And he said that so far we have been focusing, like I mentioned at the beginning, so far we've been focusing on achievements, identity, and all of that, and looking outward. And this is a stage where we start looking inward, yeah, and finding purpose and meaning and realigning with our own values. I think aligning with our values, I think, is a very, very key thing in this part, this stage of our life, because so far we've just done things because everybody else did, or we thought that was the right thing to do. But with that wisdom that we now carry, we start looking at, okay, what do I want to do? What is it that draws me? Yeah? And what makes meaning for me at this stage of life? And that is the realigning that we are talking about. Yeah.
That is beautiful.
So I just want to jump in here, and Vandana and I were just speaking, Ragini, before you joined, that we are constantly active and we don't want to stop being active, and we are on the run all the time, even at this stage of your life. And so when you say the word pause, I don't know how to do that. So I'm wondering whether Zuva Life will address this aspect for a lot of us people who are past 60 now, but who are just as energized as we were when we were in our 30s.
Correct.
And so how does that pause happen?
Yeah.
So, very, very nicely put. But the thing is that, see, I am also I just turned 60, so, and have all the energy that I need to do anything. I started something at 58. Most people think of retirement at this age, but I think it's all about what drives you. But what you are talking about pause, yes, even if we were to look at pause as not as indulgence, right, but as a place where we give ourselves permission to reinvent and redesign ourselves, right? And like Ragini said, there are certain drivers, right, which drive us through life, right? Initially, of course, it is about, peer pressure, what others are doing, what is this, the latest trend, whether it's AI, whether there is this, we all get into it. But there is a time in life at this stage where we say we can realign with what drives us, what is that value that will energize us, because this is what we are talking about, moving into a different phase of life, because we are not competing with the young ones. We have a different kind of skill set. We have a different kind of mindset. We have a different kind of intelligence
Energy also.
and energy. And can we package it so that it serves us rather than depletes us? So I think that's what we are trying to do, creating a space. That's what Zuva Life is trying to do through workshops and programs, is to create a space for people to pause, reflect, and redesign themselves.
Yeah. And to add to what Vandana is saying, pause is not to stop doing anything. Pause is really about, asking yourself, where am I? Where do I need to go? Yeah. Am I on the right, on the right route? Yeah. Do I need to take a different route? What is it? So that pause is about that. Pause is about really reinventing, relooking, reimagining. Yeah. Mhm.
And
Thank
it's
you.
never about stopping. Honestly, it's not about stopping anywhere. But what I design to something that aligns with myself, with my values, and I'm not working because of some peer pressure or some other driver, which is an external driver, but a driver which comes from within.
At this stage, would it be okay to explain what exactly Zuva Life does? Because then, we can understand more on how we can, go about this pause, and how we can relook and reinvent ourselves.
So at Zuva Life, we work with people who are in this same phase of life, in same stage, trying to answer questions about what's next for me, what can I do next, what would be that next chapter for me, because I'm changing. There are different spaces. There are so many people who, we spoke about transitions and how transitions are now looking and leading us to which space, and so hence finding that next 5-10 years of my life on what I can do. We run workshops. We run workshops around similar things, around agility of mind and body. We run workshops around, so we do a lot of inner work. We do a lot of understanding our body, understanding where we are, how every decade brings in new aspects, even within our body, and not to peg ourselves against our old self, but accept where we are and then take care of ourselves. So from every aspect of health, from mental to physical, uh, to understanding how can I stay curious, how can I remain this learner, lifelong learner, because such an important aspects. Of course, we have. Um, we know that how it keeps us going, about our brain cells, and how new what is neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity.
Yeah, that's it. Because if we remain an avid learner, about understanding wealth, not only from money point of view, but looking at our wisdom as wealth. And that's a different lens, because we look at wealth as what we have acquired. Of course, that is important, and to see how it will serve me as I move forward. But even looking at ourselves, looking at our wisdom, and saying, this is my wealth that I've acquired. And how do I, vitalize? How do I bring vitality there? And of course, about about having a community. So these are all aspects that we keep in mind while designing our workshops. We are also coming up. I spoke to you about the Zest Circle. This is a 3-month journey that we are designing for people who want to reimagine what's next for them. Right? It is. It includes guided reflections. It has conversations. It has helps you design and explore what your purpose is. That's the idea. And the aspects, different aspects that we are looking at are purpose, vitality, relationships, uh, it's not designed as a workshop, but as a journey with about 20 people. It's a small program that we are planning to run. It has 6 in person. We are starting off on this in Bangalore itself. So 6 in-person sessions, 8 conversations which with coaches across different across health, wealth, life, and these are one-on-one personalized coaching sessions. And of course this whole thing about having a community to move forward with, because alone you can get insights. When you're in a community you get perspective, right?
Right.
People mirror you in so many ways. Questions get answered because you listen to people. You
Yeah.
get permissions, right? Because you some permissions that you're not able to give yourself when you see other people's journey, you're able to do that. And it is also about, I mean, communities, of course. This is a beautiful community that you have created, which is
Mhm.
energizing. So that's the idea of creating community-led programs. So that's what's coming up next month for us. End of next month is when we start this program.
And also, navigating transitions, like you said, is a tough crossing for many
Yes.
of us, many of the people out there, many people on the Wisdom Circle community, probably. What in your experience can help them to move through it?
So I think one of the things is, of course, pause.
Yeah.
Right, Ragini? I mean, this is more down your alley. So maybe you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
this question. But for me, pausing
Mhm.
and reflecting,
Yeah. Yeah.
just giving yourself a permission to pause, right, is a
Yeah.
huge thing. And I'll pass this question over to you, Ragini.
Yeah, I think firstly acknowledging, I think the first aspect is acknowledging that that I'm going through something, and then I need to think about it, I need to acknowledge it, I need to maybe seek help if there's, if it needs to seek help, or even share it with somebody, talk about it. So I think a lot of our mindsets are that we need to handle it ourselves. We need to, figure it out all by ourselves. I think that's the mindset many of us have grown up with, right? But I see that at least the younger generation definitely is making a shift. And I think it's time that our generation also starts making that shift to say that it's okay. It's okay if I don't know something, and if I'm struggling with something, it's okay for me to reach out, to take that pause, to talk to, people, to seek help. And right, like rightly Vandana said, to take that pause and say, just step back and see what is it? Yeah, what is it that's working for me? What is it that's not working for me? Yeah, even I think pausing to really reflect and understand ourselves. Yeah, sometimes it can be done on our own. Sometimes we may need help, and it's useful to talk to a friend or a mentor or a professional. I think anyway. Either way, that I think that's really important to do that. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Journaling is
think two aspects. Sorry.
I
Yes.
think journaling is a great tool to have.
Okay.
It
Okay.
helps you. I mean, you journal, you automatically pause. Right. This also is. It's also about staying. It also helps you, you know, uh, building curiosity about your own self. What is happening? What is making me restless? Oh, whatever questions are appearing. It's a great space, and to be in touch with yourself, I think, uh, is is important. To seek community is important. I think those are two things which really help you navigate through this space, especially when you're transitioning. Both the things of reflection, of seeking community, giving yourself permission to pause. All these things really, really help. And also aligning with all that you are, looking at life as a spectrum and all aspects of life, right? And there is some finer work, inner work, but there are also nuts and bolts of things, right? So being being up to speed or understanding what is happening. I mean, curiosity, staying curious, staying a lifelong learner are huge things that help you navigate through this.
I think the two things which you mentioned were so important. One is mirroring. When people mirror something, it gives you a different perspective. And the other thing which I really loved is that the community gives you permission for things that you don't give yourself permission for.
Yeah.
Those are so important. And so, and in some of the workshops that I do, like I was mentioning Vandana, in my workshop, I teach that financial assets are one thing, but when you cross this particular midlife, you don't realize this wealth that you have in the terms of community and family and social connections. And that's a wealth that nobody pays attention to. And actually, that is worth its value in gold.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So,
We take it for granted. And in fact, studies have shown that all age-related illnesses, like whether it's dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all of that, one of the key things that they have seen is people who have been very socially active and have connections, have good social life, and are either families and communities or whatever. The onset of this is almost missing. Yeah, it is very clear. It has a direct relationship with that. Yeah. So I think to not underestimate or take it for granted, but really to work on that. Yeah. Mm.
No, loneliness itself, I mean, I think there are some statistics which say loneliness is equal to smoking, I don't know, 15, 20 cigarettes a day. It,
Mm.
equivalent, that's the kind of harm that it can cause.
Mm.
Communities really play a big role
Yeah.
in keeping people healthy, both in mind and body. We don't, I think, sometimes understand the power of a community.
Yeah, totally.
just as a talking point, I'm wondering whether you all both would like to cast light on the fact that our social fabric is changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? From joint families and from being connected socially, we are now these small little nuclear families where nobody meets anybody. You can't visit anyone unless you message them, WhatsApp them, email them, make an appointment, even for social meetings. So, what is your take on that? What is the future looking like? We are talking about community, but we are getting further away from community.
And I mean, you said it so rightly. I mean, I come from a small town, right? I come from Jammu. I mean, I grew up in Srinagar and then in Jammu, but and life was so different then, right? And like you said, I could just walk into anybody's house. You had a social fiber, you had family, extended family, and right now you don't have any of those things, right? You are so far away from home, hardly any family here. Uh, it is so this has to be designed into your life, right? Now you have to do it purposefully, like with
Yes.
intention, with intention,
With
that you have to design the community fabric into your life. Unfortunately, it's not a given thing anymore with nuclear
yeah.
families, children staying out of the country. I mean, most of us have children. Ragini has 3 generations staying in the same house. She's one of the lucky ones, but most of us have children who are not here, and you know or with parents going away, there's such an empty space, and then we fill it up with with things. I think we need to fill it up with people, and that's how we have to do it, build with intention,
Right.
consciously do that, consciously design for it. And I think organizations as well, uh, you know uh, especially those of us who are working in this space. I too say that we work in the space of longevity, but with a focus on midlife. The idea
Right.
is to create that practice today so that tomorrow when we go, we have a community as we go along. So it is, I think it's so important. We are people who are meant to be in communities. We are not supposed to live in isolation. So given
Yeah.
that in mind, I think, and as we grow older, we know the merit of having a community. Ragini, over to you. I could speak about this for hours, I think.
Yeah. No, I wanted to add that one that I, earlier what was taken as given and what was a norm, now it has become that we have to make that extra effort. We have to, really see how we can be connected. How can we have to really plan it. Yeah. And like Vandana said, I think we have to do it intentionally. Yeah. So that's one part of it. But what I'm also seeing is a whole lot of, at least I don't know much. I grew up in Delhi, and I educated and all of that, but I've been living in the South for now years. And so I'm not aware of there are these places, but in the South, where there are a lot of these assisted living places now. Yeah. And especially Coimbatore, Chennai, and all have some of these fabulous places which are so beautifully done. And I know I have some of my relatives who stay there, and they are so happy because they formed such a lovely community of people. There is this something called Nana Nani, and there's something called Paripalaya, and there are many. I'm just naming a few. And they have formed such a beautiful community. They play together, they sing together, they dance together, they do all kinds of things, they eat together. And I think this has become very important for us, because most of those people have their children who are living, outside the country. So this then you create, then, if your children are not around, then you create an environment where you have people who support each other, right? So I think these are just one of the ways that one can do it. Yeah, yeah. And earlier it had been given elderly home and stuff, names like that, which people never liked. Yeah. But now it's called assisted living, and these places are really beautiful. Yeah. I mean,
Senior communities,
yeah,
I think that's what they.
yeah. I think we have been lucky because, I think my parents also, yeah, live in the same city, and they come and live with me often. And my children also live with me. Like I was sharing with Vandana, there are times when there are three generations living in the same house, and but that's a rare thing now. Yeah, but yeah, and I think I'm grateful for that. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so I think,
whatever works for whosoever, right? Some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
might want to, might find that as exclusion. And
yeah.
I hear people saying that on going and living in a senior living community is also like exclusion. So there are various ways to design, and each one of us can align differently, but intentionally we have to create these spaces for ourselves.
Yeah.
And
so
you're
I think
saying
Wisdom
set
Circle
up,
has also,
yeah, sorry.
sorry, sorry, Vandana. Yeah,
I know I'm
you
saying
finish.
that if we start intentionally designing earlier, we can
Mm.
go through, and that's the thing that it's an intention that you set for yourself, and it's an important intention. And like you said, Wisdom Circle has created a beautiful community. And yeah, go ahead, Swati. Sorry, I had interrupted you.
So I think Wisdom Circle has realized that you have to plan community with intent. I like that sentence of yours. And so one of the things that we are doing now is we're tying up with corporates and doing transition workshops for retiree management. So,
Mhm.
people who are like 6 months or 1 year away from retirement, their family is their work family.
Mm.
And the day they step out of the workplace, for a lot of them, I don't want to paint everyone with the same brush, but for a lot of them, day one of retirement is what shall I do now, and who shall I meet, and who shall I
Mm.
talk to? you know so we are doing these workshops where we kind of educate them on exactly things like this, purpose, and remaining active, and probably continuing to give back to society. Like someone said, from takers we become givers at this stage in
Mhm.
life. And
Absolutely.
so we are stressing more on that, and we are working around this. And another personal example that I would like to tell you is that a lot of my friends in my age group of 65, we all realize that we are basically away from children. Parents may have passed on. So we are looking at 20 more years of
Mm.
independent living, right? We
Mm.
may be active,
Mm.
but the socializing aspect is where everyone falls short,
Mm.
because traffic being the way it is, and we can't, get to places. And so we are planning to create our own little community by buying up in an enclave or in apartments together.
Yeah, I was going to
So,
come to that
when-
too.
right. So when there are 6 of us together, you know that someone is looking out for somebody else all the time. And so we are with intent creating this social fabric around us, a cocoon which will take care of us for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah. I was going to come to that, Swati, that, many of my friends also, we've often spoken about it, that, we should all buy together in a place so that we are all there for each other.
Yes,
And yeah, I think, and I'm hearing that a lot of people are doing that. Yeah. So there are people who are creating with intent their own
yes.
small communities where they are there available for each other. Yeah.
I think these are pain points that are slowly going to come up because of our social fabric, and we are now
Yes.
finding ways to work around it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then the idea is that we start thinking about earlier, the better.
Earlier.
The
Because
better.
this
Yeah.
is how life looks like, like, of course, life is always changing, always evolving, but what we see happening, at least we can prepare ourselves for that and design accordingly. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
think that's what uh, I think is an
Okay.
important thing. A place to pause, yes. Yeah, Swati.
So I would love to hear what everyone in this session has to say.
Yeah.
Before that, I'll just ask Ragini a last question. So
Yeah,
being
sure.
part of the program design and facilitation,
Mm.
what excites you most about this journey of Zuva Life or the Zest Circle? What is the fun part? What is the exciting part?
I think, my own journey has been, I think it's a culmination of my own experience because I've been in this line for almost 30 years now. But at 59, I started this Infinite Growth, which is a platform, a learning platform, and we provide counseling and psychotherapy services. And so when Vandana asked me that, let's I'm planning this and will you like to be part of it? It was almost like, okay, so what I transitioned from into something to start something on my own and create something. It was almost like I'm going to put that into a program which becomes meaningful for others too. So it was very, very exciting for me. And I think every aspect of this program is like we have this term called physis. We were just talking about it. Physis is that force of nature which helps you to grow and make growing things even more perfect. Yeah, it's that energy in us that is that that it's that energy which lights up. And there are moments in our life when we have felt it's not happiness, it's beyond happiness. Yeah, we felt that, wow, this is that aha moment. Yeah. So I think that I think experienced my physis when I worked with for the Zest Circle program and the designing part of it. And that is really what we also want the participants to experience. Yeah. And yeah, that's really been my experience.
That's wonderful, wonderful to hear your perspectives and your opinions. And I think the passion and smiles that both of you have just kind of shows how much energy you're putting into it and how much energy you're getting out of it.
So well
So
said.
I would like to throw the floor open for any
Sure.
questions, observations, any comments anyone has. Uh, please.
Yeah. There are some who have also put it on the chat.
Yes, I was just
Yeah.
So
going to
this
that.
is yeah, this is Vijay Kumar. Hope
Yeah.
you're able to hear me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
First of all, First of all, thank you so much. Thank you for the very insightful session. And I could connect with whatever you are saying because primarily even I am also doing the similar work actually. So I'm also into the transitions, life transitions, support. And especially, I am also working towards the 50 plus age group for a purposeful retirement transition. So, be it whatever you are saying, in terms of the challenges, people have the work till the last day, and suddenly there is a drop. And then, the first 3 months it is okay. We call it as a honeymoon period, but after that, they really don't know what to do, how to spend the, meaningful life, right? Initially, because, first 25 years is education and career, and 25 to 50 is achievements. And after that, very rarely people plan for that remaining 20, 30 years. And then, the only people think that, okay, I can spend my time with my grandkids, or I can go for my jogging, walking. But can you do the walking for 8 hours? Can you spend your time, with your grandkids for 8 hours? Even if you are ready, your grandkids are not ready because they have their own job. So it's I mean, basically, when we conduct these kind of sessions, right, retirement transition, whatever you're telling, even I do conduct those sessions, and people really think, oh, correct, yes, I have never thought about it, right? So thank you so much for the very insightful session. I could really connect it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Vijay.
much. Thank you. I think
And
Sheila
if
wanted to
possible,
ask a question.
Yeah.
There are many
No, I
more.
don't want to ask. I just wanted to share with you people that it
Sure.
was such a wonderful session. And I've always been a people's person. Until March, I was working. And I'm nowhere 50, 60. I'm far, far beyond all that. I'm 75. And I was enjoying every minute of it. And but what I realized, it always I wanted to, this period, this phase in my life where I should not be having anything to do. But now when it has come, I am really at a loss. I know whether this is what I wanted, but I still want to meet people. I want to interact with people, and I would like to do something. I mean, I'm not the kitty party, bhajan mandali. I cannot go, but I have a lot of friends. It's not like I'm socially very active, and I also enjoy helping people and counseling people. But still, that transition is difficult because your colleagues, they have their work, and once you're out of your business or what profession, you don't have much to share. The organization, and you don't have much to share. So and at 75, I think it's very difficult to even think of venturing. Now I think of crossing Hebal flyover, I get the creeps. Oh my god, how am I going to do it? We tried it till March, and that's what. Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you. People listening to you was great.
I just wanted to add one thing, Sheila. There is so much I think you can still contribute to. There's a lived experience. There's so much wisdom that you would have gathered. I'm sure you can still share and contribute in many ways.
I would
75
like to
is
get in
young.
touch with you people.
Yeah.
If I can get your contact, I would
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
just
sure.
work. Yeah, provided that it's no long travel is something I would like to avoid in Bangalore.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sure, Sheila.
sure.
I'm sure Swati can help me get your contacts.
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
yes, yes.
Sheila, for
Yeah.
sure. I will do that.
Yeah.
I'll get
Thank
you
you,
the
Swati.
contact.
Thank you.
Yes, Saroja.
Saroja.
You're on
Saroja,
mute, Saroja.
you're muted, Saroja.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes. Yeah. I must congratulate this. It was a real, very, very, heart-touching program. And I love the Ragini smile, and Vandana was always smiling. It shows that they have so much inside them that it all came out today for us. And I have a little thing to share. Can you people hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I stay with 4 generations together. I have my mother, myself, my son, and his children together. So I feel staying with the family is entirely a different, a kick that you will never enjoy staying together in a community, however big it is. And that is what I feel, because I don't know the other part where people stay with friends and in a community like in a vridhashram or wherever it is. Staying it at home is like we have our own people and we have grandchildren to take care of. And since most of our children are working and their spouses are working, they need someone to look after their children. So my son always tells me that when we were small, our nanny looked after us. Now you are a dadi, so you have to look after our children. So we are all happy staying together. Only thing, there is a lot of adjustments that we have to make.
Of course.
But I still feel staying at home with a family, with little compromises, has a lot to teach the next generation. That is what I feel. Because staying in a community outside, we're not going to teach anyone our values, our, respecting elders, helping each other. It's just that we're staying with friends because we need company. Here we are staying with a family where we're going to teach the next generation to be good citizens. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you very much for the program.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Saroja, on that. Yeah. Thank you. I think there's Pradeep who wants to talk also.
Yeah, Pradeep.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, both.
Okay, thank you. I think it's been a wonderful choice to come in and join this program today. I'm really, I think it's a great opportunity to really listen and understand how everyone is addressing this. I call a prime age in life, probably. I would say because this is. I mean, for personally speaking, I don't like the word retirement at all. It tends to give you a verbal definition that you're done and out, which is not true really, in my perspective. And I just wanted to say just three things which really touch me, and many of them are right there up there. You suggested the pause. And for me, the pausing is because I would have translated. I'm translating the pause right now. Pause, this word called retirement. I call it rejuvenation or something. You're doing ascension. You're getting into a more liberated state of soul, I would say. And that kind of thing gives you a tremendous choice, which you perhaps didn't think about much in your earlier choice. Now you have a plethora of choices, really, which you can make. So I thought that's one thing I wanted to say, because it is a new set. If you could possibly think of a new life starting from 50, which is beyond what is the kind of life we've been living until that time, perhaps, isn't it? I mean, you talked about different phases in life, and today Vanvasa is not about going to the jungle. It's basically leveraging that kind of a thought process into the way. So this is the first part. The second thing I thought was, I mean, we just spoke about it. Saroja Bhai ji just spoke about, for instance, living as a inclusive, family as much as possible. Now that sometimes in today's world, physically that may not be possible, yet it is possible too. So what often I find is we tend to separate ourselves because either the children are away and those kind of things, and we start thinking, oh, we are old and we don't have much to do now. And I think that's where a societal approach, and we talked some of those today. Maybe it's not just about senior living today, but it's about maybe the senior living still part of an inclusive society, because otherwise we just know the senior view. We don't know what's happening with the rest of the people. And I thought, for me, that's a very important thing which I wanted to share. Why not build, an inclusive society where, which is the kind of thing which Saroja ji was talking about, in my view. It's not just about within family. It can be the entire world is the family. So wherever you live, make it more inclusive. Yeah. And so those are the kind of thoughts I had. I work with an elderly, work in the sense I consult with an elderly organization who's taking care of elders, and much of the things I find and was very humbling and very huge learning experience watching how people beyond my age itself, and I'm getting into it as I go forward, is affected by various things. So there is, considering India is getting 40% of its 40 or 60%, I don't know my statistics is right or wrong, but a lot of that kind of percentage is getting into elder age in the next 2 decades. So I think it's an opportunity that we all complement, the young and the old complement to make that happen, right? And make it a better living. I missed the health part. I think if you are happy, we are more healthy, and we need to we owe ourselves to make ourselves happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. There is a huge merit in the intergenerational, connect and what we can learn across the generations. So I totally agree that having an inclusive and more connected society is much more useful, where wisdom gets passed on. So thank you.
Yeah, that's the only place where I thought, we shouldn't isolate ourselves into purely elderly living communities, which will be just another segregation in the society, and that shouldn't be the case, I thought.
Yeah, that is only a substitute. It's not. It's not it's only another option.
Yeah.
I think we can role model. I think role modeling what we want our children to do is such an important aspect. Yeah.
Can I speak, please?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have retired almost now 3 years, and I served as an Indian Administrative Service Officer for almost 35 years. And when I retired, I completely closed anything to do with Government of India, and I started living my own life. I think the first principle is that you should prepare for next 15 years from health point of view. And to me, it involved almost, 2 hours daily to work on my body. Then I wanted to do something. I work on my cooking every day, about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and I go for some gym exercise for strengthening the muscle. And then from 3 o'clock till 9 o'clock, just like I'm involved with you, I involve in other groups, and we have members all over the place. We discuss, and we are able to have a full occupation of the time till 10:30 in the night.
Wow.
And like I learned shooting at this age. I go to a private club. I'm doing shooting. I learned some few of the days language while I'm located in Bangalore. I belong to North India. I learned Kannada language, and I into heavy gardening also. And I'm also under voluntary service, in the sense that I am associated with one group of people who are bringing up a hospital for poor people. It's a super specialty treatment extended to poor people. So there also I visit once or twice. So I find I have no time for anything to think beyond meeting all these needs.
Yeah. Good for you.
And this is, one has to plan on his own.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Anupji. That was really inspiring, and I think all of us have so much to learn from it. It is 6 o'clock, and unfortunately, even though we would love to keep talking to Vandana and Ragini, we have to stop here. Two things, ladies, that I will go away with. One was, Vandana, when you mentioned instead of going to the forest, be the forest. That is something which is resonating within me, and I'm going to definitely think about it a lot more. And what Ragini said was, when you're taking the pause, it is not really the pause, it is asking yourself, am I on the right path? And these are questions that we really don't ask ourselves. And so, engaging with community, working with Zuva Life, or participating in Zest Circle, I think it's going to answer all these questions for us. So I want to thank both of you for being here. It was such an energizing session, as you can see from all the interactions that we've had here today. And I'm sure we would love to have you back in the future. Thank you so much for the lovely evening.
Thank you and welcome. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much.